MG, that's how we live. Okay, let's go, 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 okay, let's go.
I don't know. It's so weird because it's like sometimes I'll just be high as hell and I'll just have an idea pop into my head.
Ideas.
And it's always so late. Like it's always like so like the sun's down or it's on its way down and I'll just like be fucking around on my computer and then I'm just like, oh, I have an idea and I'll just start putting things together. Like that is the most enjoyable to me, which I guess you could say is design.
You like curating.
Yeah, like I like putting things together, but I think it's so funny because it's just like when you put a label on it and you get a job, then it's like, oh, it's not fun anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I'm not having fun.
Yeah.
But
it's tough.
I don't know. I mean, but I did have fun in certain jobs. Like, I mean, Recess, obviously. R.I.P.
Damn, R.I.p.
I miss
That seems like 3 lifetimes ago, doesn't it?
It really does at this point because I think definitely because of COVID. But that was definitely the most fun job I've ever had. It definitely helped that we were making money for sure. Yeah. But like it was just fun. Like it was just a job that I was just like excited to go to where I was like, I want to work. Where's the shift? Does anybody want off? I'm in that bitch. Like I'm waiting. Like I would make plans with people and then I'd be like, all right, y'all already know 11 o'clock, gotta go. Like, and everybody would be cool with it, whatever. But now like sometimes I'm like, oh, I gotta go work.
Do you find yourself like adjusting or like shifting? Because like sometimes I'll like work throughout the night and like rest during the day. Yeah.
And you know what? It's actually funny because my old boss, Kelly, me and her like very much saw eye to eye on the creative aspect of like we worked well at night. We were just like during the day we felt like so forced to have to work and like be on everybody else's time. But like it's so weird when you're in a creative field that you have to, especially like design, where it's like you kind of have to be on those hours because you're not just designing, you're communicating with vendors, you're communicating with staff, you're communicating with clients. Like, so you have to kind of be available during those like decent hours. Yeah. But those indecent hours, you know, you hit that blunt one time, you have a couple of drinks of wine, you already went to happy hour, you get home, and the ideas just start like flowing. And it's like overwhelming. And you're just like, what do I do with this time? And then we kept feeling like, how do we change the way the world expects us to work? How do we go into this and be like, how to like create something that's ours that everyone's okay with, that they're down with? And we're like, you know what? This is what time we work and get to it because this is where the good shit is coming out. This is where you're getting the quality designs, the creativity, the emotion into it. Like, and we're just nonstop just going. And I remember there was nights where I was just up, just couldn't stop. And there would be like that tap on the shoulder, like, hey, you gonna go to bed? And I'm like, huh, what? Like,
it's like 4:30 o'clock.
Yeah, you gotta like snap out of it. And you're like, whoa, what's going on? I forgot I live in the real world. Hold on, gotta go to bed because I gotta be up in a couple hours.
Yeah, I think that's how I was when I first started this pod. Just kind of like, I'm one of those people when I was like, yo, when I want to do something, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, and I'm also one of those people when someone tells me I can't do something. Oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it just because I know I'm gonna prove you wrong. And before I started this pod, I called him a friend or whatever. I was talking to him and we were drunk, high, whatever, we were smoking, whatever. And I was telling him like, yo, I want to start a podcast. And he was just like, for what? And I was just like,
anything.
Yeah, and I was just like, you know, I have great conversations with my friends, and you know, I want to talk about things that really matter, things that's really going on, because I feel like a lot of the podcasts they talk about, you know, the bullshit, like, you know, celebrities and all that stuff. I mean, but I was like, I want to talk about my community. I want to talk about, you know, what's going on in everyday life, stuff that we talk about at the dinner table. And he was just like, yeah, nobody's gonna watch that.
Oh, why not?
I mean, but
people are skeptics.
Yeah, because people are skeptics. And I felt him because he was just kind of like, I don't know whether he was just trying to do it to like motivate me. Like, yo, maybe you better do it and do it right. Because if you come with some bullshit, other people are doing bullshit also. You know what I'm saying? Or it was just one of those things that where it's like, well, I can't do this shit, so maybe I don't want you to do that. You know what I'm saying? So it was one of those things for me. So when I first started this podcast, I was like literally lock the fuck in. Like I would be down here 24/7. Like during that time I was working from home. And shit, most of the time I was working on this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This was my baby. I would check in my work computer. Oh, no emails? Cool. Back to here.
Yeah, like
I mean,
it's that excitement. You want to keep doing
Around
it.
the clock.
You want to
Right,
go.
right.
Like it doesn't feel like you're expelling your energy into it.
I didn't feel tired. I didn't
Yeah.
feel like, oh, I'm going downstairs
Because
to
it's
fucking
filling you up. That's
Yeah.
why you
Right.
feel
Yep.
tired.
Right. Yeah. And then, you know, I didn't have, and also during the time I didn't have the luxury to have Scooter. I didn't have the luxury to have
Right.
Lindsay. So it was kind of like I had to, the camera work that Scooter did, I
Right.
had to do that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? The editing that Scooter
Learn how to
does,
do it.
I had to learn how to do that. I had to learn literally the lighting and all that
Yeah.
he did.
And that's a path to go, right?
And it was just one of those things that, but I had pleasure learning to do
Yeah.
all this shit. It
Did
was
y'all-
so cool.
Do y'all like to read nonfiction at all?
I actually, you know what? I was thinking about this yesterday because I listened to Dane's interview with Taste Creators, and or
had
you
him
know
watching
that
fucking
clip.
fairies
Do y'all
and
want to
shit.
know the book?
I do want to know the book, but
I'll tell
I
you
came
off
to the
camera.
realization. I came to the realization that what I've been listening to audiobook or reading recently has been more like self-help or like stories and like
I think
those
that's
type of creative
kind of where
stuff,
I started
or
too with getting
intro-
back into it.
Absolutely. And when I saw that, I was like, damn, I actually like some of my favorite shit is like The Alchemist or Old Man in the
book.
Sea or Great Gatsby.
But even still, just like those books, like you find a pattern in
Yeah.
like what you like.
Great
And
stories.
It's great.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like I think to Dane's point, you know, he felt like, and maybe I caught him in a good time too.
Yeah.
Like he felt like he needed to kind of break up his pattern a little bit.
Yeah,
Which is
yeah,
great
yeah.
to do when
It
you're
is.
in a creative space. Like you need to break up your pattern because like you need to be re-inspired by things.
Facts.
But I think he was feeling like, okay, I like certain things. I know I'm very self-aware about the fact that I like to read things that have to do with my artistry. I like to read things that are going to educate me on what
Yeah.
I'm interested in. That's amazing. You should do those things. You should continue to fill those cups up. But in order to be re-inspired, you don't know what's kind of gonna tip
Right.
what's gonna
Trigger that,
Yeah,
yeah.
what's gonna
Right.
overflow that cup for you.
Yeah, facts.
And I think I caught him at a good time, and also he happened to lose a bet. And so I was like, okay.
He needs to quit betting, dog.
No, because this is why I was excited, because usually when he bets with me, I always lose. And I won this one, and I was like, all right, what am I going to give him? And I was like, all right, I just started getting back into reading. I've been like very interested in these books, but I know that you aren't going to like it. So I want to give it to you as sort of like a punishment for losing. But also I think it would be interesting to see like, what is your reaction to this? And to my dismay, he was a good sport, and he read 2 of the books that I told him to read, and like outside of his comfort zone. But like, I think that just helps kind of broaden your scope. Like now, you know, okay, I don't know if I like this about this, but maybe something else about it. And I find something to like recreate in that aspect. But what I was saying about the books is like, for nonfiction, I like to listen to audiobooks of like memoirs in a way, because I
love
like to
memoirs
hear
too.
you tell your own story.
Right.
Like, very
Yeah.
big about that. But for me in Bali, I listened to this book that my old boss had told me about that she thought was great, but it was Matthew McConaughey's Green Lights. And I went into that thinking like, I mean, I like Matthew McConaughey, but like I'm not like a super fan or anything, but like I think he's cool, but like what the hell does he have to say that I'm going to be? And that book literally floored me. You have to listen to the audiobook. It's way better when he reads it. I mean, he's an actor for one. So like it's,
and his
it's,
voice
it's
is,
entertaining.
he's got a good voice.
Yeah,
too.
and it's entertaining, but his story is crazy. But the main focal point about it is like following these green lights. So when you're saying, you know, talking about this podcast and you're like, oh, like I was doing it by myself and I was spending all my free time doing it. Like, and it's just like the way he would look at it is like, okay, green light. Like that's what you want to follow. It's like almost kind of following like Good Omens. Like you just want to keep going where it feels like it's effortless, that the energy is flowing. Like you're not meeting like so much resistance, which I feel like some people like don't like that idea, because they feel like, okay, resistance means like you just need to work harder. You need to push harder, which can be true. But like there's times where it's like, okay, I have choices to make. And this choice maybe isn't as appealing, but it's opening itself up, and maybe I should go that way. Or maybe this choice is where I want to go, but it's a struggle bus and I just haven't found the right direction to go. So like you're going to go where you need to go either way, but it's just kind of trying to figure out along that path, which way is the green light to go. Like I'm going here, it's taking too long or it's too stressful or whatever. There's another option for you because it's not the same path for everyone. So like when you're talking about this, like I'm like, oh yeah, like you're saying it and I'm like green light, green light, green light. Right. So I'm like, I think that would be a really good audiobook for you guys to listen to. And it's funny as hell too. Like his story
I fuck with
amazing.
Matthew McConaughey heavy. Yeah, I like him a lot.
And I do like the audiobooks where it's the actual person that the book is about that's reading it. Like, you know, because I listened to the Charlemagne audiobook and he's talking about it. I think it makes it much more believable.
It feels like you're talking to them.
Right. Yeah. And it feels like you're really like having a conversation with them or they're just here telling you the story. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't feel like an actual book. It feels like, you know, just someone just talking to you. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I like 50. I've listened to a couple of 50 Cent's books.
Yeah. His is really good also. After reading that or listening to that, I definitely gained much more respect for 50 from that. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like you don't realize all the stuff that he had to go through and where he came from.
And how smart of a dude he is, man. Yeah.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing though. Like a lot of people don't understand how smart people are, what you can get from someone. You know what I'm saying? Facts. So, and I was having a conversation with Christina the other night, last night, and she was like, "Yo, I don't want to be the smartest person in the room.
Facts.
I want to be amongst people who are smart, also are smarter than me because that's how I'm constantly learning.
Yeah, you can't be around the yes men.
Right, right. I mean, so
or motherfuckers who just you can't even have like a intellectual conversation.
Right.
Like,
but you know, the funny thing about it is like we have. There's a lot of people that have a lot of friends that doesn't, you know, do anything for them. I mean, you're in a friend group where it doesn't make you like think outside of the box or make you want more. It's like, you know, they're doing the same shit. And a lot of friends because for me, I have categories. There's my friend.
Category.
There is category. You have to have
what category are we in?
Right.
Tell us now.
Now, I feel like I have categories with my friends. Like there's my friends to where it's like these are my close friends. And I don't even call them friends. I call them family. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And you can talk to them about any and everything. Right. Yeah. And they're always cheering you on. They always want you to win. If they win, you win. And vice versa. Right. You know what I'm saying? You're going along for the ride. You know what I'm saying? And then there's the friends to where it's like, we only hang out to party and drink and socialize or whatever. I call them acquaintances. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Because at the end of the day, like when something significant is happening in your life,
you're not picking up the phone to call.
We're not picking up. You'll know eventually and through the grapevine, and then you'll call me and I'll be like, oh, this is great, this is cool, whatever, and I'll tell you. But like I'm not coming to you. Fact. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of times, like a lot of people call their family the acquaintances, their family. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like, and that's where it's like they're not able to identify that. They're not able to identify like, yo, listen, this person doesn't belong in this family category. They belong in that acquaintance category. And a lot of people feel like upset and they feel like, you know what, this person doesn't want me to win or whatever. But you're not doing a good job with putting your friends where they need to be. You know what I'm saying? And I think we need to identify that as people.
Yeah, I agree, man.
You know what I mean?
Nailed it. Yeah.
I mean, I also think too, though, like not even just the friends that you're having like these intellectual conversations with are people that are super important. Like I think you can learn a lot about people, but you just need to know like kind of specifically like where to put them. But that doesn't make them like necessarily less valuable. So like say I have people who I'm considering family, but those personalities are not the same. So it's just like sometimes you need that person around that reminds you to not sweat the small stuff, to live life like carefree, to connect with like your inner child, to dance in the rain. So like you need that because everything can't be so serious all the time.
Facts.
Where are we going with that? Right. You know, but it's just like, and I like, I don't know if you guys watch the show Dave or not, but I
love Dave.
But I love the chemistry between Dave and Gata because Gata has so much value to that friendship
for sure.
And you know, in just looking at it on paper, it's like, oh, Gata doesn't seem as educated or he doesn't seem like as like intellectually there, but Gata is providing so much value to Dave that he doesn't even really realize that he needs until probably like season 2. So you can't just like write those friends off right away. You just have to kind of know, like, to check in. Like, it's almost like a reflection of your own like inner thoughts too when you're like connecting with these people. Like, there's a reason why they're here. So it's like, all right, what are you here for? Like you're saying, like what value are you providing me? But you don't know right away. So it's like, okay, the value could just be like, I need someone to humble me. I need somebody to bring me back down. I need somebody to elevate me. I need somebody to remind me that like I have more potential. Like, so you never know what those friendships are going to equate to, but like you have to kind of know how to like dissociate yourself from like judgment in that way. Like you can't really be, if you don't fit this criteria, this, and this,
I get that. I get that.
Yeah, you can't just be like, all right, you're cut off. Like, and that doesn't mean just like, surround yourself with just every and anybody. No, but like, there's definitely like people that are around you that are not all at the same like places in their lives, or they're not the same personalities, and there's so much to learn from differences.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, and I agree with that, but I just feel like a lot of times, like we have friends, and it's kind of like, they don't live up to the expectation that we have for them, or we have them like, this is my close friend, and they're supposed to want me to win. They're supposed to want that, but
you can't put people on a pedestal.
Facts. You can't expect people to be who they're not.
Facts. I mean, but that's why I put them in that category, because at the end of the day, like, and my thing is like, I put you in a category because based off how like the past has gone and based off what you've done. You know what I'm saying? I don't put you in there because it's kind of like, you know what, you're going there. You're going there. It's not like that. You've created that category for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like, I'm one of those friends. I don't give a fuck who you are, whether you're a friend, you're your associate, whether you're family. I'm still gonna show you love. Like, so for me, I show everybody love because you don't know who needs it. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I do that selflessly. Like, I don't give a fuck about like how I'm feeling. I'm gonna show you love because at the end of the day, we live in a fucked up world. We live in a fucked up world. People are fucked up, and you don't know what other person are going through. But not everybody thinks like me. And I feel like that's one of the problems like that I'll have with myself, because I'll be upset with myself because I expect people to think like me. Because I always go like, yo, who the fuck thinks like this? Who does this? Like, huh? Like, and I put myself in their shoes and be like, if that was me, I would not do that. Like, I would handle it that way. But then I come to realize, tough. Like, not everybody's like me. Not everybody thinks like that. Know what I mean? So it's tough.
It is.
So
it is. Damn.
And people change too. Like, they're also going through their own mini metamorphosis, and they're trying to figure out how they fit in their own life, like who they are to themselves, and like they're testing out different things. So like at one point they might have been that party person, to call like whenever you wanted to go out, and now life is changing for them a bit, like and they need to reel it back a bit, and they need to get more serious with themselves. And I think that's kind of where these like you have these tensions in relationships, because people don't know how to deal with, okay, well, you were this person. So now I have this void because now I don't have my party person, and you're trying to act like, oh, you want to be all serious about your life. But like, bitch, you was just doing fucking blowjobs in the backyard. Like, what the fuck? Like, you were the party person. Now I have no fun stories at my party. So like, it's very like selfish too, that you can't let other people.
BJ is crazy.
The backyard BJ is crazy. I don't even know nobody who does that. I don't know.
We're not gonna expose that one homegirl. We don't want to end friendships on 7 p.m. We want to build them.
I would never snitch.
Facts. But not me and G, we had a great conversation the other day when we were talking. We were on the phone for like maybe like damn near an hour, talking about like just life and like just the struggle. I mean, and I was just telling G like, and and she asked me, she was like, do you tell people your struggle? Do you tell people that, like because when people pull up to the crib, like they see it and they're like, yo, your crib is so nice, whatever. And I was telling G like, yo, people don't understand that I slept on my uncle's couch for a whole year.
Yeah.
Maybe a year and a half.
Right.
Slept on my uncle's couch. You know how embarrassing that is? Mm-hmm. I mean, sleeping on someone's couch and other people are walking in and then looking at you, they're automatically judging you as soon as they see you sleeping on the couch because they see your clothes, they see everything.
They're making assumptions.
They're making assumptions like, yo, this person's a fucking bum.
Right.
They're making judgments. Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
Sure.
So, and I'm judging myself, and and I'm feeling self-conscious, like, yo, dog, like, ooh, like, you mean, like, people are walking in, like, my clothes is smelling like food. My uncle's cooking wild Haitian food in the crib.
Yeah.
I'm going to work smelling like fucking chicken and rice. You know what I mean? It was just an uncomfortable shit. But like, when people come here, I always tell them, like, yo, bruh, this shit was not easy. Like, you're seeing the struggle. This is the struggle. This is, I got this from the struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like, this wasn't always, nice big house is cool, well furnished and all that. Like, nah, bro. There's plenty of nights that I was depressed. There's plenty of nights that, like, yo, dog, like, this ain't never gonna happen for me. Like, no one gives a fuck about me. Like, this ain't in the cards for me. There's plenty of nights of self-doubt, but I didn't let that shit, like, take control of me. I knew, like, you know what? I'm gonna keep pushing forward. I'm gonna keep saving. Like, you know what? I don't give a fuck what anyone says that comes through this door because I know I got a bigger plan. You know what I'm saying? And I always let people know, like, yo, bro, you're gonna have to go in order for you to get somewhere that you've never been before, you got to do something that you've never done before.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? That's always my thing, bro. Like, nothing comes easy. Nothing worth it comes easy, bro. Make that sacrifice and do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but G was just like, kind of like, yo, because sometimes like, people don't tell, like, their story. They kind of like, they don't want to, I guess, kind of discourage the person and make them
like muddy the water.
Right. And I gave the example, like, yo, it's kind of like, I always give the background, the backstory, because it's kind of like how HGTV is. When you watch HGTV, they, when look, House Hunters, you're gonna go there, you're gonna buy the house and this and that. They don't tell you about the financial aspect. They don't tell you about the inspection. They don't tell you about nothing else that happens. They don't tell you. They don't tell you about HOA. They don't tell you about, maybe this house has freaking asbestos or mold or all types of shit, termites and all that stuff. They don't tell you
foundational problems.
Right. They don't tell you about none of that stuff. They tell you beginning to end, and that's false advertisement.
Right.
You're giving people false advertisement. So it's kind of like I'll be doing a disservice if I just go into the story and be like, yeah, I did this, I did that, and I'm here.
Right.
And then they go through it and be like, yo, Steve, what happened to this part? Oh, yeah, that happened, but I ain't think you wanted to hear that part of the story. Like, nah. I mean, it's fucked up. So I do think, like, people need to just give the full story. And I feel like a lot of our athletes and our celebrities don't really give the full story of a lot of shit. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
we get a lot of snapshots, a lot of highlights, whole lot of highlights, and very little lowlights, like you're saying. Like, it's tough. It's tough for, people want to shape the image that they want to project out to the world, because you don't want that judgment. You don't want that person to walk in, to the living room and look at you like, the fuck is this nigga doing? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, people don't want to feel that, but it's a part of, man, everybody has low moments. Everybody. You can't get around them unless you're like born as a billionaire, which
like
none of us are.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
None of us are. I don't think any of our friends are.
No.
So it's like, you gotta highlight the lows too.
Just our current social life.
Yeah.
With just being able to highlight what you want. It's kind of like some people are just even thinking that way outside of their own socials. Like, they're not even intentionally trying to give you like the cute version of the story. They're just like, yeah, this is what you got to do, and then you got to do this, whatever. But like, and not everybody wants to hear that. That's the thing. Like, not everybody's ready to hear that, because not everybody's ready to hear what it takes to get to your dream. You know what I mean? Like, it's a dream for a reason. Like, it feels so far-fetched, but it's just like, okay, but if you want the dream, if you're willing to work for it, you gotta hear the shitty parts. You gotta know what you're in for. And like, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's your shitty part that you're gonna go through, but like, just know you will go through something. Something is going to happen. Something along this journey isn't going to work out. And maybe maybe it's not as deep as the one I went through, or maybe it's worse than the one I went through. But like, just prepare yourself. Like, if you really want something, you got to be able to just be prepared for anything, and also not be prepared for it. You know, don't give yourself that anxiety. I have to be ready for everything. But it's like, just know that like whatever it is, you're gonna have to figure it out, and you will, and you'll get through it.
Yep. Right.
But like, don't let that stop you from trying. Don't let that stop you from going, and just like don't be like, oh, I ran into this roadblock. It's not for me.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like that's part of it.
So many people stop at that roadblock.
Because I do feel like a lot of times when you do tell people those stories like that, and it'll allude back to what GiGi was telling me, because like people get discouraged. Yeah. People feel like, damn, like you're telling me this story because you don't want me to do it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
But I mean, yeah. But for me, it's just more like, yo, I'm telling you this story because I do want you to do it. And we do live in a society, especially now, where we compare ourselves to other folks.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, we compare. So for me, it's like, if you're going to compare yourself to me and you want to look at me, look at this. Like, you know what, when you went through something hard, be like, you know what, Steve went through the same shit and he's fine.
Right. Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I'm going through this shit. It may not be as bad as what he went through, but I'll be fine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why normally I tell my story. And I mean, because I don't want to discourage anybody. I want to uplift people. I mean, I want people to be like, you know what? This man went through what he went through, and he's fine. He's perfectly fine. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be good too. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I always share my story.
I think too, sometimes, like, I mean, for me, and this might be other people, but like my mom was big on like, oh, I'm going to tell you about this because I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I made. And I think I was always like, all right, well, if I do what she's saying and a mistake comes up, like, where did I fuck up? Like, where did I mess up? Because I wasn't supposed to make a mistake. She already told me what the mistake was. So, like, how did I end up here at a mistake? Right. So I think for me, it got very discouraging when I was trying to go my own way and trying to do my own thing. And I was coming across mistakes. And I'm like, like,
but
she
they look
told
so
me
different.
already.
Yeah,
like she told me already.
Yeah,
so like,
but they
how
look
am I at a
different
mistake?
for you.
Right. But then that's the part where you're just like, damn, I did the wrong thing. I went the wrong way. Like, and you're trying to mimic too hard someone else's path.
Absolutely.
That when you hit your own roadblock, you're like, no. I did something wrong. Like, back up. Or this isn't the right path for me. I went the wrong way. Right. But that's not true. It's just, like you said, it looks different.
It just looks different. Yeah.
No, and for me, I get that. I understand that. Everybody's journey is different. Everybody's path is different. And it's kind of like, yo, man, like, create your own path. And there's a beauty behind it. I think when you go through the struggle and you make it on that other side, bro, like, and I was telling G, like, yo, there's times I wake up in the morning and I look up in the ceiling and I'm just like, damn, I live here?
Yeah.
Like, this all mine? Like, you mean, like, it's like, fuck, man, because when you're going through the struggle, you don't see it ending.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't see it ending. You just see struggle.
Oh, for sure.
You just see struggle, bro.
Especially when it's a pattern.
Right. Yeah. It's like the daily struggle. Like, yo, bro, I'm getting on this fucking train in New York and it smells like piss.
It's cold as a bitch.
It's cold. Yeah. Like, it's just every day. I don't see it ever ending. Yeah.
Not a lush, you're a lush.
Oh, it was ding.
It's time.
Yeah, right.
I'm like trying to take a casual sip in my glasses.